welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking about the Conjuring case. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, so The Conjuring is one of, I think arguably is one of the most well-known horror movies, and I love watching The Conjuring. It's one of my favorite movies. The whole Conjuring franchise is just my favorite movies to watch when I'm feeling in like a spooky mood. So if you didn't know, all Conjuring movies are based off of real possession cases, meaning that even though the directors might have added stuff to make it more like amplified for like movies and stuff like that, yes, it is based off of real cases, which I think is probably one of my favorite parts about the movie. So I decided today that I was going to be doing a bunch of research, which I have it all written down right here. Doing a bunch of research because I was in the mood to talk about it. Now I was going to do all three of them in one video, but I thought maybe it'd be cool to make it a series. So let me know down below in the comments if you guys want me to do the rest of the Conjuring movies, because there is 3 of them so far. I hope they make another one because that'd be amazing. But so let me know down below in the comments if you guys want me to talk about more horror movies that are based off of true stories. And I don't know why my hair is looking weird. My hair is naturally blonde. I don't dye it blonde. It's naturally blonde. Just the under part of my hair is darker than the actual hair. I don't know. Just trying to make my hair look cute. Anyways, so I'm just gonna say that I did the best research I could to make it as accurate as possible. I have 3 pages worth of just notes for this, so I'm just gonna read what I have written down of the whole Conjuring movie. And yeah, I'm just going to be reading it, and it's kind of scary, so if you guys don't like, if you're watching this and you don't like scary stuff, just feel free to just click off this video. I completely understand. But yeah, and by the way, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody in this, none of the spirits, none of the people. Like, I'm trying to not to disrespect anybody, because I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, because I do realize that this is a case that affected a family very, like, a bunch. Let's just get right into the video. In January of 1971, the Perrin family moved into a new farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But they soon noticed strange things were happening. As usual, the haunting started out small. Carolyn, the mother of the Perrin family, she had a husband named Roger, and they had 5 daughters. I don't know all of their names. I do know that the one that experienced the most stuff was the oldest daughter, Andrea. Carolyn started noticing things disappearing in the house or moving place to place on its own. She would also hear scraping sounds on the kettle in the kitchen when no one was there. She would also find piles of dirt in areas that she had cleaned before, if she had cleaned somewhere, let's say in the living room, she would clean that, she would walk away, she'd come back, and there'd be dirt on the floor. Their 5 daughters started to see and notice spirits in the house, but for the most part, they looked and seemed harmless. But some, however, were not so nice. Carolyn finally decided to do her own research on the house, and she found out that it had been in the same family for 8 generations. So the house had been owned by a family, and it had been in that family for 8 generations. And during that time where the 8 generation family was there were tons of mysterious deaths. Like tons of the passings had mysterious circumstances. Like, for example, many of the children drowned in the nearby lake. There was a person who was murdered in that family, and there's also a couple people who hanged themselves in the attic, which is it's so creepy, knowing all of those crazy stuff happened there. It's no mystery why that house is haunted, because of the crazy things that happened in the 8 generations that family lived there, which is honestly really sad. I'm very sorry for that family who had to go through a bunch of I'm sorry for the Perrin family and the family who was there for 8 generations that had some stuff happen to them. That's sad. But anyways, if you've watched the movie, you may know that the main demonic entity in that movie is a person named Bathsheba, who was portrayed in the movie as either a Satanist or a witch, something like that. That's how she was portrayed in the movie. But if you didn't know, she was actually a real person who did haunt the family. She was a real person, and Andrea, the oldest daughter of the 5 daughters, stated, "Whoever that spirit was, she perceived herself as the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for that position." Back to Bathsheba being a real person. Her full name was Bathsheba Sherman, who lived around or on the property that the Perrin family lived on, and she had been rumored to be a Satanist. There was also evidence that she had been involved in a murder of a death of a child, her neighbor's child or something like that. I also heard that she had children of her own that didn't make it past a certain young age. I couldn't figure that out because it wasn't in the article I was reading, but I have heard rumors about that. That's what I've heard pretty much. And one fact is she's buried in a nearby Baptist cemetery in downtown Harrisville. The Perron family soon believed that Bathsheba was tormenting them. They reported smelling rotten flesh, and then even reported saying that their beds would literally lift off of the ground when they were laying there. Like, that's just like so creepy. Like, oh, like I don't know what I would do if I was like just laying in bed and I just noticed my bed was lifting up. Like, ugh, like that's super creepy. And that takes like it's very rare in like haunting cases and stuff like that. And they would also report the basement they would feel like a cold, sinking presence behind them whenever they'd go down there, and they hated going in the basement, which I honestly understand. And like obviously they tried their best to avoid going down in the basement, but their heater, it would always be super freezing in their house, so they had like a heater and stuff, but the heater kept breaking and it was located down in the basement, so they had to keep going down there to fix it, and then it'd go back up and it'd break again, which is honestly very frustrating. The Perron family lived in that house for around 8 or 9 years, and in that time, the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, if you don't know who they are like, I absolutely love their work. So in this, like the 60s, even like in the late 50s to the early 90s, they were paranormal investigators. They would they have done like thousands of cases of like demonic possessions, like haunted houses. Like they have done so many stuff. And Lorraine Warren was she had the psychic gift. She was a psychic medium, so that's like really cool. And they're one of the main characters in all 3 of the Conjuring movies. It's like based off of cases that they did, which is super cool. Probably already mentioned that, but the Warrens made, in that time that they lived there, the Warrens made multiple trips there to just kind of like stop. And this, by the way, this is one of their most popular cases. Like, I think it's like up in like their top 3 most popular cases that they've ever dealt with. Like, I'm pretty sure it's up there. The Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, made multiple trips. During one of the seances, however, it took a turn for the worst. So, Lorraine Warren had been holding a seance to try to speak to the spirits that had been tormenting the family, when all of a sudden Carolyn became possessed. I think that, I'm not positive, but I think that maybe Carolyn might have been possessed by Bathsheba. Maybe, I'm not positive. This is what I think might have happened, because Andrea stated that Bathsheba, like, she portrayed herself, or like at least one of the mean spirits there, like it might have been Bathsheba, but kind of portrayed herself as like the mistress of the house, like this is my house. And Carolyn, who is the mother who owned that house, also had kind of like made that position. I think maybe that spirit didn't like it because I don't know, maybe, you know, it's just a stretch. This is kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know everything, but like I think maybe that's might have what happened. Lorraine Warren was holding a seance trying to contact the spirits, but then Carolyn became possessed. She began speaking in tongues and even raising from the ground in her chair and getting thrown across the room. Like, that is just like, ooh, like, like that's just like super scary. Like, jeez. Andrea, who is like the oldest, stated, "I thought I was going to pass out. My mother began speaking a language not of this world in a voice not of her own, and the chair levitated and she was thrown across the room." And like, can you imagine seeing your mother like get thrown across the room? Like, that's just like terrifying, like thinking about it. Like, geez. Like, I'm trying to think, like, if I saw my mom, like I would not be too happy. Even though the movie shows Ed performing an exorcism on Carolyn, Lorraine Warren stated that her and her husband would never attempt one. She stated multiple times like that's like something that a Catholic priest would have to do, not them. Even though in the movie it shows that's what they did. I couldn't figure this part out though. I couldn't figure out like if like they took her to a priest to get an exorcism, or if like after the seance the spirit just kind of left her alone. I couldn't figure that part out though, so like I'm not positive. But after, like, when, like, they were performing, like, if they were, like, kind of getting the spirit to kind of leave her alone, it states that, like, Roger actually, like, punched Ed Warren and kicked him out of their house. But, like, he punched Ed Warren and kicked them out of their house. And, yeah, they lived there until 1980 after that. They, of course, wanted to move out, but they couldn't because of financial reasons, which I think is kind of sad. Anyways, so I'm really like sorry that I feel really bad for them that they had to kind of stay in the house, but it does state that after Ed and Lorraine Warren left, that like the spirits kind of settled down until they did leave. But yeah, the house is actually still a thing today. It still stands today. Here are the owners that own the house now. And like, yeah, I don't know if like they hold like, I don't know if you can like get tours at that house. I don't know, because it's like honestly the house that they live in, so I'm not positive, but I'll know who's gonna go. I honestly, like, if I could, I would go to that house, even though it's extremely demonic and it's like very like scary. I kind of want to go. I mean, I might regret saying that, but like I love paranormal investigating. It's what I do. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Anyways, guys, let me know down below in the comments if you would like me to talk about the other 2 Conjuring movies, because I would honestly love doing that. But yeah, let me know down below. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button and maybe subscribe, because when you subscribe, it tells me you like my channel and more. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!